Week 12 was a very exciting one in the NFL. I went, 12-2. And currently my overall record is 97-59. So I can't go over every single game that I called right, but let's look at a few different ones that I did call right that other people didn't, and we'll talk about why I called them right. First one was many people picked the streaking Bucs to take down the shaky Falcons, but the Falcons have managed to win a lot of tough games. It doesn't matter if it's by 1 point or by 50. You either win or you lose. And they're 9-1, and they've only had one loss on the season. There's a reason for that. And the 49ers dominated again, and Colin Kaepernick made some very athletic plays that I don't think Alex Smith is even physically capable of pulling off. Pittsburg continues to struggle, and it seems like without Big Ben, their playoff hopes have been completely dashed. The Houston defense seems to have completely disappeared, but the offense has stepped up to the challenge and they continue finding a ways to win games. The Jaguars are playing better with Chad Henne as their QB, which is horrible news if your name is Blaine Gabbart. Cutler returns and the Bears dominate once again, though it helps that they were playing the Vikings. I mean, they started off the season extremely well, surprised a lot of people, but ever since that 4-1 start, they've looked like the team that we all thought they would be. And the Ravens, they may not be the same team they were last season, but it seems like they're still in pretty great shape and they can easily take advantage of their weak schedule and probably going to end up with the first round bye once the playoffs start. Though I honestly don't really expect them to win a playoff game, not the way that they're playing right now, but they're in the playoffs. Let's be honest about that. They haven't officially clinched a spot, but it does not seem at all likely that they wouldn't find a way to fight their way in. And Dallas proved that they are still Dallas, and the Jets, they stunk so bad that even Fireman Ed gave up on them. The Packers are still a strong team, but they are struggling because of all of the injuries, and the Giants did come off a bye week. Packers fans have nothing to worry about, though. They'll figure that shit out. Eagles and Bills fans, though, they've got plenty to worry about because their coaches once again demonstrate how to waste talent and throw away games that you could have easily came away with. I was only wrong about 2 games this season. One of them was 2 games this week, I'm sorry. One of them was the Cowboys, and, well, it's obvious that I'm a little biased. And Miami, they won a very close game against Seattle. I guess the defense is better than I thought, and Seattle's offense just always seems to struggle making plays on the road. But the one thing I want to talk about more than anything else is one specific play. Hey, diddle diddle, Ray Rice up the middle. There are so many things you can take from this. I mean, Ray Rice is a fantastic halfback and one of a few players in the league who could actually pull off that kind of play, who would actually be able to do what he did. And how horrible does your defense have to be to give up 30 yards on a 4th down play? North Turner, if your seat wasn't hot before, it is on fire right now. And also for the Ravens, I mean, how much confidence does a coach have to have in his halfback in order to call that play? Anyways, a few key injuries this week. A lot of different ones throughout the leagues. Here are the ones I'm focusing on. Matt Forte, Devin Hester, and Charles Tillman for the Bears. They all suffered injuries. The Cowboys placed Bruce Carter on IR, so if it wasn't already evident, the Cowboys season is over. Brandon Whedon suffered a concussion in the win over the Steelers, and Andre Brown was placed on injured reserve after breaking his legs. But suspensions are only half the story. Injuries are only half the story. Suspensions have been handed down this week. On Thanksgiving Day, Ndamukong Suh kicked Matt Schaub in the groin, but he's not getting suspended for that. However, Seattle, a team currently in the playoff hunt, it looks like all of their hopes might have just gone out the window because it was announced that cornerbacks Richard Sherman and Brandon Browner have been suspended for 4 games. They will be out there playing this week, but from week 14 to the end of the season, no more Legion of Boom. They're going to be missing 2 very important pieces that are integral to that defense, and it will hurt them. And also, Eric Wright, a defensive back for the Buccaneers, he was suspended for 4 games. That is effective immediately. And Jermaine Cunningham, linebacker for the Patriots, has also been suspended for 4 games, effective immediately. And what's the playoff picture look like this week? Well, in the AFC, the Patriots, Texans, Broncos, and Ravens are leading the division, with the Colts and the Steelers currently leading the wild card chase. However, with the current state of the Steelers and a matchup against the Ravens looming, I fully expect the Bengals to leapfrog them next week. And technically, the Dolphins, Chargers, and Titans are still in the hunt, but I don't see that happening. You know, I think the playoff picture in the AFC is pretty much set, and the only thing left to be determined is seeding. And in the NFC, the Falcons, 49ers, Bears, and Giants lead their division. The Packers and Seahawks are the leaders in the wild card chase, with the Buccaneers and Vikings in contention. Fun fact, the Vikings, Bucs, and Seahawks all lost last week. And so did the Cowboys and Saints, who were trying to squeeze their way in there. And with their win over the Cowboys, the Redskins are now suddenly in the playoff hunt. We'll talk the Packers. I'm going to say this. They are in the playoffs. I have no doubt about that. And the Bears more than likely will be able to stay in there anyways. I don't know who's going to get that division right now, though. But so it's basically you've got like 7 teams fighting for 1 wild card spot at the moment. And the Seahawks are leading right now, but their defense is going to take a serious hit with those suspensions. They could end up falling off. And the Vikings, they started the season very strong, but they have not looked like a playoff team these last couple months. I expect them to continue skidding. The Bucs definitely have a strong chance, but their schedule isn't that favorable. I mean, they had a tough matchup this week. They've got another tough matchup next week. I wouldn't be surprised to see them get in, but they do have one of the hardest roads ahead of them. And the Redskins, they technically have a shot. I don't see it happening, however. Whereas the Saints and Cowboys, despite their losses, do still have a very long shot of getting in. But only one of them could even possibly hope to get in, because they are playing each other in a later week. So, and for either of these teams to get in, they would have to run the table, and some of these other teams would have to lose out. So only one of these teams could even possibly get to the playoffs, just because they do have each other on their schedule. And either way, it really doesn't seem likely that either of them stand a chance. Like I said, it's just an outside shot, which begins with them running the table. And that's it for this week. But next week it's going to be an exciting one to watch. Like I said, playoffs are on the line, and we're going to start with the Thursday game, where we have the Saints going to Atlanta to play the Falcons. The Saints handed the Falcons their first and currently their only loss of the season. However, that was in the Superdome, and Matt Ryan is a much better QB playing at home. I'm picking the Falcons to come away with this one. I would not be surprised to see the Saints win, however, just because Drew Brees, I think he understands the situation. The Saints, even if they win every single game from here to the end of the season, there is still a good possibility that they wouldn't be able to get into the playoffs. But for them to have any shot at all, they cannot afford to lose this game. This has been The Fan Perspective. I am your host, Nathan Lyle. Have a happy Tuesday. Tune in Friday and Saturday for predictions for Week 13. Later.